Hello, and welcome to my classroom. Let me show you around a little bit first. So here you can see that the students have different assignments, different weeks. We divide them into groups according to their abilities. We have granites, obsidian, sandstones. If you are familiar with Minecraft, then you'll know what those names are all about. Let's just look around the classroom first. We have resource links. These are places the kids can go themselves to find different links. Brain Pop, Kids Health, Google Cheat Sheets. Wolf Quest is a really fun interactive game. The kids take on the roles of wolves as avatars and meet up and have baby wolves and build tribes and do all sorts of stuff. Here is our classroom. The kids can come in and sit down on any of these seats here. Just click on the seat, sit down, and then we're all around here together. And we generally meet here before we go traveling around the world. Let's just go directly to some of our teleports. So here we are in a First Nations village. This lesson that we do here is called Hunting and Trapping Amongst the First Nation People. It's modeled on a BC community because that's where this particular program was built for. So you can see the salmon skins drying here, and the smoking of the meat here. If you click on the avatars, then their conversation will come up in the chat at the bottom. We stretch the skins of the animals so we can dry them and turn them into clothes. We have here these people here, these men here are, the leaves of the trees are useful for medicine and keeping our bodies strong. If we go over to the weir, this man here will tell us something else. He says, down here, I am using this weir to trap the salmon so I can catch them. And you can actually get a better view if we go right into the water. And then you get the fish's view of what it's like to come up against a weir. If we go over here, we'll fly because it's faster. Oops. You'll see here, this place is called Buffalo Smashing Head Jump. And you can tell why it's called that. Let's teleport somewhere else. This is the Hall of Poets. This is where we do some of our English lessons. So we go in here to the youth sector. We can individualize lessons and put them on the boards here. We have a section about Dr. Zeus. We have Jack Polutsky. Click on any of these, left click, and you'll see it brings you directly to a web page. With some sample writings. And just to show you how it works, if you right click on it, you'll see how the coding works. So it's a simple sign. The description here is what the students actually see. And then these are the actions that describe what happens when you click on it. So the thing is to activate an URL, and then it gives the URL here. The students learn to do this very, very quickly. And in fact, a lot of the things that you'll see in here, like the First Nations village, was actually built by students, not by teachers. Let's go to Fractured Fairy Tales. Okay, this is a place called Story Forge. And again, each of these lessons, each of these signs is linked to a lesson, which is all supported on Google Docs. It's a little bit slow because I'm recording. And you can pull out this website window on the side to give a better view. And again, because I'm recording live, it's a little bit slow to upload. But if students are in here by themselves, it would go much faster. So the assignment here was that they would read a story and then write their own ending. What do you think happens next? Write the remaining paragraphs to the story. And they can actually directly go in here and file, make their own copy, and edit it directly in this and save it to Google Drive. Let's see where else we can go and visit. So here we're in a place called Canada World, which is an old settlers village. We can see here we have a pioneer school, Pioneerville School. I believe we can go inside. All the students are sitting down, doing their work. And if you click the book on the teacher's desk, you'll actually see more information about the Pioneer School system. So again, that brings up a web page, and you see in 1912, 8th grade exam for Bullitt County History School. So it gives you an idea of what the content was like at that time. Out again. All of these can be customized. Oh, somebody in trouble over the corner over there. Everything that's in here can be customized for whatever the teacher wants to happen. One of the assignments was to create your own tour guide. So the task was to visit some Canada World and think about how it compares to where you live. Create a brochure showing some of the best things about where you live. It can be famous places or places not so well known but special to you. And then different details of that assignment. One of the other resources I use is a site called Reading Eggs. When the students are first introduced to this program, they are given a placement test. So every student works at their own rate and at their own place. If we start at the first story, you'll see brings the cover of the book, and they have to look at the cover and then say what type of book that might be. So How the Owl Got His Feathers. Is it fictional, poems, or a non-fictional factual test? So we'll go with fictional. What do you think the book is about? A report about owls, a story with owl as the main character, or a magazine article about why owls lose their feathers. Well done. So as part of the assignment, you can choose, well, the student doesn't choose, the student automatically goes from one section to the other. So we have dictionary, making connections, keywords, main idea, and details, then reading the book itself, and a quiz. Let me show you, say, keywords, for example. We'll go back to the home page, and you can see what other features are in here. We have English skills, which is basically where they work on the spelling, and the teacher can set the level for the student here. Everything, of course, has a grade book, and everything is individualized for the student or for groups. The stadium is fun because they can compete against the world, against their class, against the school, or just by themselves. And there's a leaderboard. So they can choose easy or difficult levels. Let's go with grammar. Which word is a verb? So they would have to choose. And it doesn't actually tell you when you're wrong until you get to the very end. Oh, they'll actually hear the crowd, actually, so they will hear. They'll hear the crowd clapping or saying, oh dear. there's a trophy room. So each student will have their own board to see what they have accomplished. They can print certificates. There's a mall. Oops, where did that go? There's a mall where they can go and spend the eggs that they have won, and they can customize their homes, their avatars, pets, and cards. And there's an arcade. And again, the arcade, it costs eggs to play on these arcade, and they're all educational games too. They're quite popular. For writing, just close it off. Okay, so for writing, I use a lot of interactive templates. This one is a cube creator, so I'll put in my name. And then you just select which type of cube you would like to make by clicking one of the cubes below. So let's go with the biography cube. And who are you writing about? What time period did they live in? Where did they live? Next. Personal background, what were the major events in their life? Write in here. What was their personality like? Write in here. What did they do that was important? What challenges did they overcome? An important quote from the individual. And then finish. And you can either save it as a draft, save the final copy, and share the final copy, or print it. Here's another one for learning the elements of writing a story. It's called The Hero's Journey. So you write your name in there and the project title, get started. You read about what a hero's journey is. And then name and describe your hero. Who is he and what this looks like? His talisman or his secret weapon. King Arthur had the sword Excalibur, so what does your hero have? Crossing the threshold, he leaves the familiar world of childhood and enters into his new journey. And you will say what your hero had to do. The achievement of their goal. What is it they had to achieve here? What was the ultimate goal of the journey? Reconciliation with a father figure. The return home. The unusual birth. The call to adventure. And a supernatural helper. So they give examples here like Simba and the Lion King. And what else do we have here? Luke Skywalker is called into action by Princess Leia. And Mulan willingly leaves home to fight in the battle against the invading Huns. So there's all sorts of different templates like this that the students can work with individually and then save or print out their answers. For science, we use gizmos. Gizmos are interactive virtual labs. Let's look, for example, here. We launched the gizmo. It's called Ants on a Slant. It's a lab about inclined planes. So here we see a bunch of ants, a bunch of items, and they have to push it up a stick. So we'll start off with one ant and see what happens. And not very much. So we'll take a second ant, restart, second ant, and nothing's happening. So we'll add a third ant. Try it again, and the 3 ants are now able to push the blueberry up the stick. But what would happen if we, again, had 3 ants, but we added friction in? Then they're not able to. So they would need to have somebody else come and help them. So then the students will see that when you add friction, it makes it more difficult. They can also try and change the angle. So now perhaps with friction, 3 ants might be enough if the stick is at a different angle. And you can see that they can manage it. It's a little tough. They're not going quite as fast. And they eventually get there. There are assessment questions where the students, 5 questions for each one of the students, then can check their understanding, check their answers, and I'll submit anyway. And they'll come up with the results, and then they can retake it again until they know that they do understand. As far as record keeping goes, we use Google Classroom. So here's an example of some classwork organized into weeks. And the students, you can click on any one particular student and you can see all of the work that they've done or not done, and a grade book. So you'll see how they've done in that. Students can also work on individual language courses through Duolingo. These are my students here use Minecraft as a learning environment, so that's why the name is there. Minecraft or Virtual Worlds are 2 different programs. And again, you can go into the class and you can give assignments. You can look and see how the students are doing individually or as a group. Let's see, course progress. So this is French for English speakers, but you could also do English for French speakers. And then you'll see how each student has a completely different progress level. And that's okay because they're all working at their own speed and their own ability. And you can also go in and check each individual student as well. Let's check the student here. And we'll see his activity log. So now you can see a time and a date stamp and see what it was that he practiced, how often he's been working. So those are some of the features that we use. Zoom is our classroom. I'm the only one in here now, so you can't really see the whole features, but there is a chat feature. There are breakout classes. We can do quizzes. Students can share. There is whiteboards. They can log in from an iPhone, an iPad, anything really that's digital. And advanced features here too. And the teacher has control over the students. He can mute or unmute. They can play entry or exit time so you don't miss the student that's coming in. You can lock the meeting to make it private for students. There's different features that the students can use here in the chat, so they can indicate yes or no. They can say, go slower, please, you're talking too fast, or go faster, or all sorts of other things. I need a break. I'm away. Yes, I like it. I don't like it. And everything is recorded so that students can review material later by themselves, or if they miss a class, they can come and catch up at their own. That's it. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask.